Neighbors say they actually saw first responders out here on the streets performing CPR on 2 of those children. We have seen several police cars going in and out of the entrance over here, and they're blocking off the road as we speak. Helicopters are flying across the sky right now. We talked to a few students out here who say it's been an absolutely heartbreaking day. It's snowing right now in Pigeon Forge. We have a lot to talk about here because the winter advisory has been knocked down to an advisory. We'll have more coming up. Well, John, right along the parkway, like you said, 4 businesses completely destroyed. There's not much you can see right here because of the barrier, but what you can see is what's left of those 4 businesses, mostly just wood stacked up with dirt. Outpouring of support and just what they're feeling outside as they are laying down all these flowers and cards in memory, especially of those 3 young children that died. Back to you. If they can just figure out the motive behind what led up to this shooting. They are working to get this fire under control still. It's windy out here, it's cold, but it's also dry. I mean, just take a look at the grass out here. You can actually hear it crunching under my foot. They stayed there for the vols and they came out with a win tonight. TWRA asked new hunters to learn the difference before you get out there and go hunting. Are everywhere, and I will say, coming in earlier today, I did not realize how many people were actually inside Thompson Bowling Arena because wow, just take a look at all of these folks. Krista Lucas shares the economic impact and how you can become a winner. Exploded, and now they're having to drain out all the sawdust from inside to make sure those flames don't start back up overnight. It's on shelves in the form of gummies, vapes, joints, chocolate bars. It's quickly becoming the fastest growing product in the hemp industry, but what is it? Rick thought he'd be waiting years for a transplant. Instead, he waited weeks. His life and 2 others saved by this cycle of donations. It happened right here at the Dollar General, as you see behind me, but this is as close as we can get to the scene right now, so I'm going to step out of the frame and let you take a look at what's happening with those students and how those teens plan to give back to the community. People are donating to the family to help with those funeral costs and for Walker's 2 children that she left behind. You can find out how you can help on our website right now. But the best part about this event is that it's completely free for anyone. So if you're a Vol fan and you maybe don't have the cash to go inside, it's okay because you can come out here and enjoy this experience. TVN, it's gloomy out there.
It is. We had a lot of cloud cover come through much of the day.
This place went from 0 to 100 real quick. I mean, just an hour ago, there weren't nearly this many people out here. Ice finally starts to form on these roadways. It's going to be dangerous out there. Take a look. We still have people traveling on the roads, but let me tell you about a little bit earlier. People here are bracing for the second snowstorm of the week. They've put the names of them on the barrier along here so that you know which ones they are in case you're coming to look at them. It is taking off rapidly. We're told that it is now at 1,000 acres spreading across the mountains of East Tennessee.
More rain next week, Mary.
Ponchos and Heisman trophies. There you go. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back at 8.
He's there. Yep.
An undercover sting.
You gotta fail.
The Monroe County Sheriff's Office deploying detectives alongside an undercover teen, a high schooler.
Same deal.
Equipped with cash and his state ID is the buyer.
Delta 8 is getting into the hands of our kids from stores that are not following the law.
The 2-hour-long operation is in Madisonville. 4 stores in all. An undercover team goes in and out, putting store clerks to the test.
There he goes.
This Madisonville corner gas station did not take the bait.
That lady in there checked my ID.
He was 18 years old, and he handed me his ID, and I was like, no.
But 2 of the 4 clerks did sell to the teen. Was it easy?
Yeah.
The clerk not only checked the teen's real government-issued ID.
The kid that just came in and bought this was only 18 years old.
Oh, he showed me his ID.
I know, but it's his real ID and it says that he's 18.
But the teen tells Channel 10 she sold him this. Wow. When detectives wanted answers for why the clerk would sell Delta 8 to someone who isn't 21.
What's the year? It's 2003, right?
The clerk doesn't even know the legal birth year.
There's a sign up there? There's a sign there.
A Tennessee retailer who violates this state law is subject to a $250 fine for the first offense.
We decided before this operation, since it's such a problem, that we are going to issue a citation on it.
Second offense is closer to $500.
It's hard doing enforcement on juveniles. You want to focus on the adults. You want to focus on the problem.
Delta 8 candies, vapes, and food items
Good luck, young hun.
are being marketed and sold as if they were typical hemp products containing non-psychoactive cannabinoids. These products can be found seemingly everywhere. Gas stations, head shops, bodegas.
It's just ridiculous.
Nick Patel owns the Sonico gas station on Ebenezer Road.
We scan IDs, no matter what. We don't type it in manually, we don't second guess.
How many parents actually know that their kids have fake IDs?
He says high schoolers are trying frequently to buy from his shop.
16 cameras inside, 16 cameras outside. I'll give it to Knoxville County Sheriff's, and I'll take a picture of it and send it to Bearden High School or any of the other high schools in the area. 4 megapixels, they'll zoom in pretty well, so let them deal with it.
Patel is not playing games.
Nobody wants to pay out of pocket, and nobody wants to be fingerprinted. It's basically a tobacco product. The laws need to change on that, completely get rid of it. It's not even worth it.
Robberies, stealing vehicles, assaults, you name it, I've done it.
Being incarcerated in and of itself, unfortunately, is traumatizing by its very nature. You'll see that, the majority of them, come from poverty neighborhoods, minorities, and already there's disparities in that, population.
How do we stop teen crime from rising? Monday at 5:30 and 11 on 10 News. We know eating fresh and healthy food is important, but what about the 50,000 people in Knox County who don't have access to those foods?
There used to be a little store right down there, but it closed down. It's been closed for years.
Without a car, Jean Winters is forced to take a 2-hour bus trip to the nearest grocery store.
Poverty level in those neighborhoods is kind of indicative of the access that they have.
What can be done to make things better for people like Jean? Monday morning at 6. Make today better on 10 News Today.
He's a little late today.
71-year-old Jean Winters waits here at least twice a week because she's disabled and doesn't have a car.
For us old people that can't afford to drive, it would be a real problem if we didn't have this bus.
She counts on this bus
Now approaching Broadway Shopping Center
to make sure she can get food on the table. Jean says sometimes a trip to the grocery store is 2 hours round trip, and she can only buy what fits on her walker.
I have to penny pinch most of the time.
The struggle of these long trips turns many people to what's convenient, their corner store. She and more than 53,000 people in Knox County don't have reliable access to nutritious food. The struggle to find fresh groceries often stresses already underserved communities. The USDA says there are at least 15 food deserts in Knoxville, many falling in the east. In these food deserts, it's easier to find Oreos than a fresh salad. The available, accessible food often ends up being highly processed options. Arms Market is centrally located in the Lonsdale community. Debrina Penn stops by often.
It's a little bit more pricey than it would be in the store, but for convenience, sometimes you'll just go the extra mile to pay it.
A place seeing a lot of new development, but no grocery store.
I think that's part of the reason why there are so many health issues in our community. It's because we're just not eating fresh vegetables.
Chris Battles says it started with a community garden in East Knoxville that bloomed into Fannie Lou's Veggie Van, dedicated to bringing fresh veggies to the food desert of East Knoxville.
It's a blessing to them because a lot of them are in wheelchairs, just don't have the transportation to get to the grocery store.
Reporting in Knoxville, I'm Mary Klingler. A group that sees more than just water here, flowing through the OB River. Song, memories, and now spirit.
We just started working on our 4th album when this tragic event with Trent happened.
5 years ago, they started the OB River Band, Trent McCoy as the lead singer.
He didn't know how good it was.
Trent was he was one of those guys that you couldn't help but love.
A band revolved around a higher power.
Type of music that you could bring your children to, you could invite your pastor to.
It's life, I want to say.
They played their last show together right here where they sit, at Buck Creek Ranch.
When you come to the end of the show, we just couldn't wait to sing a song about Jesus. And he'd cry and he'd sing. Well, I'd cry and we'd sing. And I mean, it was spiritual, emotional, you know what I mean? So, going to be missed. And that's just an understatement, you know what I mean, but love him to pieces.
These down-home boys taking a break to mourn this devastating loss, but Trent's mark on this band, this community, and this nation, much like the beat, will go on.
Trent would want us to go on. and we're going to do our best to do that.
His band members have no doubt what McCoy is doing in heaven right now.
He always wanted one more cast.
One more cast.
One more cast.
Reporting in Crossville, I'm Mary Klingler. It's heartbreak tonight following the tragedy at Covenant School earlier today. Now we're at Belmont Methodist Church this evening where the community is gathering together to remember those lives that have been lost.
This is our Green Hills neighborhood, and so our community, has been hurt, and immediately we're worried, what's the details, who's hurt.
17-year-old Alexander Reddy goes to a school nearby.
Immediately a teacher said, get in your classroom, close the door, just as precaution. And immediately I went kind of to a panic mode, seeing what's going on.
Reddy knows younger kids and family friends that go to Covenant School.
Just going to school in general for other kids, is this a safe place?
It's unbelievably heartbreaking. We both work with children, and so thinking about children being harmed in this way is just heartbreaking.
After the mass shooting, all of Nashville is coming together.
God, we wonder what it will take for meaningful change to occur.
Sending similar messages to those families grieving loss.
Just how very sorry I am.
Christy Robinson says it's difficult to believe it even when it happens at home.
We live on this street where the ambulances were coming back and forth, so we heard them going and we heard them coming back. And, it was just the realization of what was happening was kind of right in our backyards.
The community says it will take a lifetime to recover from this type of heartbreak, and they will continue to lift up each other.
It's just a part of who we are. We stand together during times of happiness and times of great sadness as well.
Well, the TBI says it's under investigation right now, the involvement with an officer, which is standard for a situation like this one. We'll keep you updated with any new information. Back to you. Hours of waiting led to this. But don't let the drilling fool you.
They're very appreciative when they don't have to come out of pocket for this care.
Ram brings a new meaning to pulling teeth.
Kind of cathartic in a way. I really enjoyed getting to take these patients out of pain.
Although the clinching may tell you otherwise, it's a beautiful day for Victor Cade.
This is a cavity that's been progressing over a period of time.
Cade's procedure is more complicated than a standard tooth extraction.
Is having his upper right wisdom tooth removed. It's got a large cavity in it.
A procedure that requires surgery. Dr. Cornell McCullum says if it goes untreated, it can cause more dangerous complications like sepsis or even death.
We're trying to take care of that before it happens.
Cade waited for 5 hours.
I feel a lot better than I did before.
Was it worth it though?
It was definitely worth it. And then, you come out here and you would have paid probably thousands of dollars anywhere else. So it was really nice.
Organizers say the turnout is an indication of how many people don't have health insurance in East Tennessee.
But it's not just in Tennessee, it's nationwide.
I don't think people really do understand the amount of people that don't have insurance. So something like this is really, really big,
But it's clinics like RAM that just go to show good things do come to those who wait. Do you think you might sleep better at night?
Yeah, and definitely eat better.
Reporting in Knoxville, I'm Mary Klingler.
You're basically one catastrophe away from how do I afford to live?
Adam Newman is no stranger to the Knoxville housing market. He grew up here before moving away in 2020 to pursue his art career in New Orleans.
It was slightly more expensive to live in New Orleans, with good reason.
Fast forward to today, he's back in Knoxville to settle down close to family.
I got on Craigslist and I just put in the search parameters, $1,000 a month. And dog's okay, because we got a big dog.
The results, he says, were shocking.
Just incredibly discouraging.
He says affordability suddenly looks a lot more expensive. Apartment listings transforming into somewhat unconventional living styles.
Do human beings deserve to be living in sheds and campers for $1,000 a month? And I think the answer is no.
The Loy family started putting campers around their Clinton property for visiting family and friends. In 2019, they started renting them for about $300 to $400.
Try to put in, real fixtures and get rid of the RV stuff and kind of make it more homey.
This Clinton camper is listed on Craigslist for $1,000 a month.
Campers out in the woods are kind of a nice place, retreat for people.
The Loy family has lived here 25 years.
It's more like, I call it glamping.
They're happy with how it's going now, but they say they're preparing for future economic hardship themselves.
And I'm afraid that someone's buying up the subdivision here. We'll get crushed or smushed and pushed out. Because like you said, that's what's happening in a lot of places.
Mary joins us now. You learned that camper on Craigslist renting for $1,000 is seeing interest already.
Yeah, John, it's officially off the market, and a UT student moves in there tomorrow. The owners say they've actually gotten a lot of hate messages, but they're just listening to the market, John.
Who can blame them? Mary, thanks very much. What a revealing look.